Today I'm going to talk to you guys about something that you probably didn't expect me to say. Today I want to talk to you guys about why it is that Irelia should be nerfed. The gameplay that you're currently watching is a game that I played, I think, the night that the US women's team won the World Cup, beating Japan, where I was watching that game and I was having a lot of fun. I was drinking a little bit and had a little bit too much fun. I was a little tipsy while playing this game. I played this game right after. And this was a game that I played really badly. Like, I was really bad this game. By the 20th minute, 25th, or 30th minute, I was 1-8. I started off pretty okay, getting a kill on NASA's 1v1, but outside of that, I played horrendously this game. But this was a game that I was still able to win. This was a game that I was still able to have presence in team fights, and a game that I was still able to do okay in. And that is why we're going to be talking about why Irelia needs to be nerfed. Currently, I mean, I love Irelia. She's my main. I love the champion to death. She's so fun. I could go on and on about all the different reasons I love playing Irelia, but she is a champion that she either needs to be nerfed right now or other top laners need to be buffed. One of the two. I would prefer other top laners to be buffed, but if we're just going to solve this problem by nerfing Irelia, then I'm going to talk to you guys about why it is that she needs to be nerfed. Now, the reason she needs to be nerfed is that currently bad play does not get punished. Irelia is a very forgiving champion. Right now, she's a champion where there are some champions out there, like Jarvan top lane, certain champions that go top lane, where their laning phase, or their mid-game phase, is decided basically based on the first kill. If they get a kill early, then they are able to snowball the lane, be a bully the other lane opponent out of lane, go crazy, go legendary, and snowball really hard from there. But if they die, if they mess up and they die in the first, if the first kill that there is doesn't go to them and it goes to the enemy player, or maybe an assist if it's to a jungler or something, then suddenly the lane is the complete opposite. They suck, they lose, they're the ones who get bullied out. And that's something that happens with a lot of champions, I feel like. A fair number of top laners in the early game and the mid game. A lot of top laners are built to scale into the hyper late game. People like Nasus or Jax, or there's a lot of top laners where it feels like they're built to scale, and the early laning phase isn't super indicative of how they'll do in the hyper late game. But even those champions, their early game and mid game can be decided almost entirely based on the first few kills. Irelia is not like that, though. Irelia is a champion where she can lose the lane, she can give 3 kills, and then still go 5-0 over the next 10 minutes. Like right here, I kill Graves right there. I'm 1-8. I'm able to kill Graves, even though he's like 9-2, I think, at this point in the game. It gets really ridiculous when you think about it. Irelia is in a really, really good spot, kind of. I mean, as a champion, she's really good at the game, but it's definitely in an imbalanced way. So one of the things about Irelia that's really frustrating, like if Irelia is so good, you're probably asking, why am I asking her to be nerfed or for other top laners to be buffed so she's more balanced? And the reason for that is because this is actually hurting really good Irelia players as much as it's hurting really bad, or as much as it's benefiting the bad Irelia players and hurting the opponents that play well against her. When you go 5-0 in laning phase, it doesn't feel that special. It doesn't feel that accomplishing if you go 5-0 in laning phase, when you think to yourself, well, I could have died 3 times and still went 5-3, had the same amount of gold and damage, only losing out on a little bit of CS. That's a very frustrating thing to think about and a very frustrating thing to kind of deal with. And that's the big issue that I think that currently exists within Irelia. She's a champion where it doesn't necessarily matter how good or bad she does in the laning phase, as long as she's able to build a Triforce, as long as she's able to TP gank bottom lane and steal a kill or two, and she's able to get a Triforce reasonably into the mid game and not fall too far behind on experience, she can still do really well, and that's very frustrating. And even when she does get shut down, even when she does go 0-5-0 and isn't able to get any sort of thing rolling, where she's not able to go and pick off kills to come back with, she's still a champion that has so much presence in team fights just with her stun. Her stun is probably something that I don't know if I want to say it should be nerfed because it's not the longest stun in the game. I mean, Nasus is slow as 5 seconds, then it's like an 80% slow for 5 seconds. Irelia stun is for 2 seconds, and there is counterplay to a stun. You can cleanse it, you can buy Merc Treads. There's a lot of stuff that you can do against it, which is one of the reasons that I don't necessarily want to call out anything and say that Irelia should be nerfed by reducing her stun or anything along those lines. But that's the really frustrating thing about Irelia right now, is currently it's bad. It's bad when you see someone make mistakes and when you punish them for those mistakes, but then because they picked a strong champion, a stronger champion than most others, they don't get punished that hard for it. I don't know. This is something that's been on my mind recently, and I do think Irelia needs to be addressed. Again, I don't necessarily think she needs to be nerfed, or I don't want any of her abilities to be reworked because I love playing her. I think she's super fun. She's super enjoyable for me to play. I have a blast with her every time I get a chance to play her. But this is something that's very frustrating, and it's becoming more and more apparent that as more and more top laners that are not Irelia get nerfed, she's becoming stronger and stronger, especially in this very frustrating way of as long as she's able to get a kill, she can snowball as hard as any other top laner that snowballs with early kills, but dying does not have the opposite effect for her. She's still able to be relevant in the mid game, be relevant in the late game. And that's why, even as an Irelia main, I do think something needs to be happened, whether it's buffing other champions or giving a slight nerf to her. I do think that currently, whenever you see a champion where bad play does not get punished super hard, that's something that's bad. Obviously, that's something that needs to be reworked or changed or addressed in some sort of way, whether it's addressing item changes, but buffing other laners in that lane, or nerfing Irelia, which obviously nerfing Irelia would be pretty sad. I'd be pretty sad to see that happen, but it might be what we have to do. But anyway, those are just sort of some of my thoughts. I know Irelia has certainly grown to be a very strong champion in recent months and recent weeks. She's become stronger and stronger with the weaker and weaker other top laners that currently exist. And I do think that she needs something. There needs to be something addressed here, because whenever bad play does not get punished, that's got to be one of the most frustrating things in League of Legends. So there are plenty of champions that have this sort of capability of being good even after losing laning phase. I mean, Riven, before her nerfs, was one of the biggest culprits of that. But something needs to be done, I think, to address the fact that this is happening on Irelia now, who is, let's be honest, she's not that fun to play against when this sort of thing happens. That's how you can tell when a champion is really overpowered and needs something to be addressed, when this sort of weird situation arises. But anyway, I will go ahead and stop right there before I keep on rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. I will, of course, see you all tomorrow, but until then, good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.